Welcome to Gill Coed Nationals Edition. I'm Chris Love.
And I'm Jane Mackey.
I'm Z Korowitz.
I was here working with Gary Jobson and his team for ESPNU, and they were actually gracious enough to share some of their footage with us for the show. This year's coverage on ESPNU will air July 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern, July 12th at 4 a.m. and 9 a.m., and again on Sunday, July 13th at 8 a.m. And Gary tells me every year they end up adding a few others as well, but these are the official airing times, so be sure to watch or set your DVRs.
Calling all college sailors. The U.S. Sailing College membership includes all the benefits of a full membership at a special price. Why join? Sailors from around the country are positively impacted by U.S. sailing. From beginners to experts, from one-design sailors to offshore cruisers, and from instructor trainers to race officials. U.S. Sailing membership dollars support all types of sailors in countless ways. The college membership has specific benefits just for college sailors. Get your special 4-year U.S. Sailing membership today for just $95.
And the Gill Coed champs, what a great cap to this college season. The Seahawks alumni were here running races, and they managed to get 17 off for each fleet in 2 days, despite the wind never really settling into a single direction over the course of the days. A lot of tight battles we'll get into in a minute, but from pretty early on in this regatta, it became clear who the winner was going to be, and that was going to be Yale. Let's talk about these Elis for a minute. They basically ruined 2 national championships this year by running away with it and making it impossible for anyone else to win. Here at the Coeds, first of all, you've got freshman Ian Barrows sailing with Marlena Fowler, leading B Division from the moment they win the first race, finishing with 50 points and beating second place Alex Post by 58 points. Graham Landy and Kate Gamond had to come out and win 4 out of the 5 final races to take A Division as well and put the overall delta at 88 points, a margin that, as far as I know, has got to be a new record for college sailing. And then just to rub salt in the wounds of every other team who attended, they come out and have the nerve to win the only remaining trophies. The Marlowe Ropes College Sailor of the Year award for Graham, and the Fowle Trophy, which was again won by an embarrassing margin. Oh, and by the way, Ian, Graham, and Kate will be back next year, along with the second place women's team sailors, Morgan Kiss and Charlotte Belling. At least we know, Yale's not very good at recruiting, so I'm sure they won't get anybody new to add to that mix. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, Chris, well, no understatements there. Have to agree with you completely. Hats off to Yale. We talked about them all year. I think we had a debate early in the season about which recruiting class was better, Yale or Stanford. I believe I chose Yale. Not that that's a surprise to anybody that I'm always right. So no surprise here that they finish on top. Such a dominant performance all week long, really. Only 5 points away in the women's from a triple crown. They've got a deep team, and this is something that they don't always have. They're usually one of the deeper teams, so this has to be the deepest with the freshman class with Ian Barrows as well as Mitchell Kiss, and then obviously Graham and Sago. Let's not forget about Sago, as well as the women's team. Their women's team is phenomenal and incredibly deep as well. So they've got the best practice team, I think, in the country. They have one of the best venues for going fast. They're well coached, as we already know. And they're just really good sailors. I mean, they've done a great job recruiting over the last couple years. This is the second time in 3 years that Yale has had a B Division win by a freshman in the co-ed. So certainly nothing to sneeze at there. And you know what? Really good leadership, which is something that isn't always looked at or talked about on these teams. Seniors that weren't really sailing the whole time, like Max Nickbar, Will Feldman, Chris Sago, obviously one of the best leaders we've seen in college sailing, leading by example. Positive attitude and just a well-rounded college teammate. So hats off to them, and yeah, they're going to be quite scary in years to come as well.
The second place finisher was Georgetown, led by Nevin Snow, College Sailor of the Year nominee, and Katja de Silva in A, and Alex Post and Bettina Redway in B. They struggled a bit at the end of day 1 when they had to fight off a charge by Tufts and day 2 in the morning, but came through to clinch second overall.
BC had an untraditional path to the podium, picking up the U.S. Sailing Grit Award for finishing 9th at semifinals, just barely qualifying for finals. They struggled hard early and didn't clinch 3rd until the final race, the first time they found themselves that high in the standings. They also had to go through a 3-way protest hearing after racing that disqualified ODU from race 12B and bumped them off the podium into 6th overall. That DSQ also gave Stanford the chance to move up into podium position, but they were very inconsistent and finished in 4th, 6 points behind BC and 1 point ahead of Tufts. The Jumbos were the epitome of inconsistency. As their coach Ken Legler said, they always got a 1. It was either first or something in the low teens.
And I think Stanford maybe underperformed again a little bit. I know they were considered a favorite going into the Nationals, but a 4th is certainly a great finish there at the co-ed. A little surprised to see Tufts up there. Will Hager leading A Division for most of the event. I think he's kind of shown he's one of the more inconsistent sailors in college sailing, but certainly when he can turn it on, it's scary for Tufts. So that's a great finish. Nothing crazy here. Great finish by the Monarchs in 6th, and then down to 17th and 18th. I don't think anybody would have predicted Brown and Harvard rounding out the bottom 2 spots. Usually one of the better contenders coming out of NISA, and typically do pretty well at the Nationals, so I'm sure those guys are feeling pretty disappointed. But other than that, maybe I was the only one not surprised to see Yale win by just that much.
2 weeks ago, the Zim 15 was introduced to the world. After several months of designing, building, tooling, and refining the construction process, the Zim 15 is ready to hit the water. The Zim 15 has incorporated the most sophisticated construction techniques into the most advanced dinghy on the market. With a hull weight under 200 pounds and over 20% more sail area than similar-sized dinghies, the Zim 15 is geared for performance. Come sail with us as we move dinghy sailing forward.
And my co-host Zeke, a lot like Yale, had this thing pretty much wrapped up going into the final race here. Zeke was ahead last week with 2 points, but graciously went double or nothing. Didn't matter though, he seals the deal with his pick of Yale, and he's won this year's Chalk Talk prediction contest. Katie last week, I believe, made the promise that the rest of the non-winners would dress up as their favorite college sailing coach, so here's what we've got.
Let's go for a walk.
Yes. We'll be ending a little early today. I've got dots.
We didn't get a chance to connect with the winner of this year's Gill Dry Suit Contest hosted by US Sailing, but the winner is Zach Stevens from Purdue. Congrats to Zach, and thanks to everybody who participated.
As the All-American Committee has their final meetings this week, I am putting together the first ever video presentation of these awards. It's going to air Wednesday, and you can follow College Sailing on Facebook or Twitter, or look for an email on the ICSA email list to find out exactly when and where you can watch it, but it's expected to come out Wednesday. Well, thanks again to our presenting sponsor, US Sailing, and our supporting sponsor, Zim Sailing, for another great season. It's been my pleasure serving you here on Chalk Talk.
And thanks for tuning in for another great season of Chalk Talk. Have a wonderful summer.
Nice work everyone this season, and thank you for watching.